Hey guys, this is the Anime Fiend bringing to you today One Piece greatness. One Piece is on break this week, so I wanted to revise on my bounties video, Straw Hats bounties after Wano. I mean, my previous bounty video was about a year ago, and not a lot of my opinion has changed, but this time I could like properly justify by, telling you about what exactly happened. Of course, this time I could show, like, dude, this is why, it'll increase this much. So, there you go, man. Let's begin with Luffy's bounty. Luffy's current bounty, of course, 1.5 billion berry. Of course, after Whole Cake Island for defeating Charlotte Karakuri and also, doing all the other shit that he did in Whole Cake Island. And that's a big ass bounty, but this time I think it's gonna grow a lot bigger. But before that, let's just talk about, Kaido's bounty being 4.6 billion berry. That is the highest bounty that highest known bounty in the series of a person who's actually alive. So yeah, that's pretty crazy, and among yonkos at least, it is definitely the highest, right? So yeah, this is a crazy ass bounty, and many people don't think Luffy would get close to it because of you could say Blackbeard, right? Mainly they just say Blackbeard because Blackbeard's bounty is 2.4 billion berry, right? Sorry, 2.24 billion berry, and that's because, of course, all of the crazy things he did in Impel Down, Marineford, and of course he acquired all of Whitebeard's territory, and of course he defeated the Whitebeard pirates. Basically, you could say Whitebeard pirates without Whitebeard. So without the captain, acting captain was of course Marco. And I think that's an impressive bounty, 2.24, and of course he is definitely a Yonko. He is definitely worthy. But the problem here is, he never defeated a Yonko. Yes, he was the one who dealt the final blow to Whitebeard, but we all know he wasn't the one who did the most damage. It was Akainu, and even excluding Akainu, there were many people who attacked and damaged Whitebeard, right? Of course. And it's the same thing with Kaido. Yes, some of them were paper cuts, some of them were like negligible, but still, we know that, in a water stream, a constant steady water could actually like penetrate through stone. So that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? That's exactly what happened to Whitebeard. So I definitely think this time, because Luffy is defeating Kaido, like actually defeating Kaido, it's not gonna be a 1v1, but of course all the damage accumulated to Kaido and all this shit, of course, is gonna take him down, right? And because of that, I think Luffy's bounty is gonna be 3.5 to 4.7 billion berry. Now again 3.5, I think a lot of people will agree easily. They won't like argue much, right? But 4.7, yeah. See, the reasoning, of course, again, Kaido's is 4.6, and defeating him, taking his territory and all that shit, it would put him to 4.7. And now the way I'm justifying this, again, Blackbeard never defeated a Yonko, and Luffy being this man, who's taking down the strongest Yonko. Yeah, that gotta do something. And of course, again, even Big Mom is here, and if Big Mom, loses to Kid and Law, of course, that is because of Kid and Law, but still Luffy would get associated, like he's one of the dudes, who was involved in this shit. So all of that accumulated, it could go to 4.7 billion berry, 3.5 to 4.7. That's my prediction, right? And again, to the people who say like, oh, but Blackbeard is just 2.24, Luffy can't fight him when Blackbeard's bounty is actually lower, right? So to that, again, this is another theory which could not be true, but I definitely think like Blackbeard would definitely do something, either kill Shanks, which would, and this time it wouldn't be like accumulated damage or shit. I think it would be 1v1 and Blackbeard would defeat him, right? So even if it's underhanded or whatever, right? At least to the government, I think the news would go as Blackbeard defeated him 1v1, not like Luffy defeated, Kaido with a bunch of people. And yeah, that's gonna be crazy, right? Or it could just be like, maybe Blackbeard finds some crazy Pluton or some other, crazy ancient weapon or something, right? So I think this time, before Luffy even meets Blackbeard next time, I think it's gonna increase. I think 2.24 is gonna be 5.24. Now, why specifically 5.24? I mean, 24 is whatever I just took from his previous bounty, but 5, I think he's gonna surpass Whitebeard, because that fight, I think it's gonna be like, Roger versus Whitebeard. Even if Roger and Whitebeard weren't enemies, I think this would be like a good parallel. Like, Blackbeard would be better than Whitebeard already, and I mean, you understand what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, Whitebeard fans don't get on me. I mean, come on, I love Whitebeard, but I mean, Blackbeard is the future, man. But yeah, I think Luffy defeating him would be a significance, like Roger being, I don't know, some way superior to Whitebeard or whatever, right? Whatever. But yeah, that's Luffy. I mean, Luffy needed a lot more explanation, so it took me a long time. But now coming to Zoro's bounty. Now Zoro's bounty, current bounty is very low, 320 million berry from Dressrosa. Now King's bounty that Zoro defeated fair and square is 1.39 billion berry. So you could kind of square it off to 1.4. So yeah, that. So Zoro's bounty, I think, is pretty simple. It's gonna be 1.6 to 2 billion berry. Now again, King's bounty was 1.4, so why not 1.42 to 2 billion? Why 1.6 specifically? Well, I think always it always is like Zoro's bounty is greater than Luffy's previous bounty, and Luffy's previous bounty is 1.5 billion berry, and that's why I think it's gonna be, I mean, you could say 1.6, you could say maybe 1.52 or 1.55, whatever, kinda higher than 1.5. So that to 2 billion berry. Now again, 1.5 or whatever, for defeating Albert King. Yeah, and 2 is of course all the shit that he did in Roof Piece. So I think that definitely counts. So that's why it could actually go to 2 and not just like defeating King, because that's exactly what happened with Luffy, right? He defeated Katakuri, who had like 1 point something billion berry, right? 1.05, I think, and he got 1.5 because he did all that shit in Whole Cake Island. So that's why I think even Zoro's is gonna be like that. And now coming to Sanji. Of course, Sanji is much more pretty straightforward than Luffy and Zoro. Queen's bounty is 1.32 billion. Sanji's current bounty 330, which is definitely not even close to what Sanji is worth. But yeah, I think this time it's gonna be 1.4 to 1.6. Now again, 1.4 for defeating Queen, and 1.6 maybe if he does a little more, because I think, I'm pretty sure he's a lot more fresher than what Zoro is, right? Because I mean, Queen, I don't know, man. Damn, that man, I mean, he's awesome and all that stuff, but yeah, he was kind of disappointing. And kind of weak. But anyways, moving on to Jinbe. Now Jinbe's current bounty is 438 million berry, and the one who he defeated, the Who's Who, is of course 546 million berry, which again, Who's Who, man, very disappointing fight. But again, Jinbe is just that strong. I mean, just strength wise, I'm still saying the fight is disappointing, but strength wise, I just I could just say Jinbe is just that strong, because again, people started saying like Big Mom pirates are just stronger, Oven would destroy Who's Who. I don't believe that. I think they're either like close, or in my opinion, Beast pirates are just stronger. But Whatever, man, whatever. But yeah, Jinbei's bounty again, who's being 546. I think it could go like around 600 to 800. Again, 600, pretty simple, defeating who's who, but 800, I think he could do a little more. Maybe take on CP0 along with Franky to, protect Robin, right? So yeah, that could actually happen. So because he's still fresh, right? So yeah, whatever. But now coming to the highest bounty after Monster Trio, and I guess now even Jinbei, Usopp. Of course, Usopp's bounty being the highest as 200 million from Dressrosa. Of course, keeping the theme, the same. I think his bounty is gonna go even more higher, something around like 600 to 700 or something like that, man. I mean, really, because again, one thing that I forgot to mention, all these bounties, all the Straw Hats bounties, I think are just gonna get a boost just because they defeated a Yonko crew, not just Kaido. They defeated a Yonko crew all together, and they themselves will be recognized. Definitely, this definitely gonna happen because they themselves are gonna get recognized by the government, by everyone, as a Yonko crew. So just because of that, I think everybody is just gonna get like a little boost. But I definitely think Usopp is still gonna do something. Yeah, page 1, I know, he did a little damage, but most of the damage, Big Mom did that. So whatever, but I think he still has something to show, or some crazy miraculous thing. Maybe it could be funny and like a misunderstanding, exactly what happened in Dressrosa, but still I think he'll get that big ass bounty boost. Now coming to Franky, the guy who deserves a high ass bounty the most, man, because he just has 94 million berry from Dressrosa, and that is just sad. But of course, now he defeated Sasaki fair and square, and he's still fresh with, and Sasaki, of course, had 472 million berries. So this man defeating Sasaki and still being fresh, maybe again he could fight the CP0 with Jinbe, so it could go around like 500, which is reasonable, to maybe 650, because maybe he could like fight CP0 or do something more because he's still fresh. Now coming to Robin, which probably would be kinda the wildest guess, because some people are like, oh, she's gonna go to 2 billion because she's dangerous, she can read poneglyph. I mean, she could read poneglyph for years, and it still didn't matter. She just had that smallest bounty. But now, of course, I would say, this time, because the Straw Hats, being a Yonko crew, and her being in a Yonko crew for the first time, maybe that could significantly increase her bounty. I agree on that. But again, she defeated Black Maria, 480 million berry, which I think justifiably could put her around 500, 550 to maybe max 800 million. I don't think she's gonna get a billion just because she's in Straw Hat crew, right? So yeah, maybe a boost like 800. That's like a wild guess, but reasonable, I would say, like around 500 to 600. But yeah, maybe 7 to 8, who knows. Again, now coming to Brook, again another man who has a low as bounty, but I think all the other Straw Hats, of course, Oda hypes up, but Brook, I don't know, maybe like Oda kind of forgets about him, man. Because he just has 83 million from Dressrosa, and he doesn't even have a whole cake bounty, and he fought Big Mom 1v1 in whole cake. I mean, he didn't do much, but he definitely damaged her like soulmates, right? Her Zeus and all that stuff because of his soul power. So people should recognize that, man. I mean, she's a crazy Yonko, man. But anyways, his current bounty is 83 million, and yeah, he didn't do anything which could just put him like around maybe 200 200 boost just because he's a straw hat and he's like, I don't know, 250 280 million. But maybe he could fight CP0 along with Jinbe and Franky. Maybe the third CP0 shows up, and maybe because of that he could go to, like, I don't know, 450 million. Maybe I hope he does that, man. Please, please. But again, now coming to Nami, again, Nami is basically like Blackbeard dealing the final blow to Whitebeard. She dealt the final blow to Ulti, who had 400 million. So of course, just like Blackbeard didn't get enough amount of bounty just for defeating Whitebeard, I think it's gonna be the same for Nami. Again, just like Blackbeard got Whitebeard's fruit, she also got Big Mom's power up. So damn, she's pretty similar to Blackbeard, man. But again, of course, she basically, I think, would get maybe around like 200 million because of all that shit, right? So there you go. Now coming to the last straw hat, of course, Chopper. Now again, his bounty 100 berries. So that's the funniest bounty, of course. And that happened in Dressrosa. I mean, he didn't do anything in Dressrosa, but just by association, right? And this time, if the funny streak keeps on, I think it's gonna go 5 times higher, and that's gonna be like 500 berry. But I mean, it could be like maybe he gets recognized this time, and it could be like 100 to 200, because dude, he did a lot of shit. He was in the forefront. All the other arcs, he was in the side. So people could have just ignored him and mistook him for a pet, right? But now they know he's a doctor. He cured a bunch of people from Queen's virus. He slapped Queen. So he gotta be recognized. So 100 to 200 million berry is reasonable, right? And I think some YouTuber, I don't know, maybe Brago, maybe King of Lightning, Sawyer, who, I don't know who, maybe Joyboy Taking, who knows, but someone mentioned like maybe he could get like 2 bounties, right? One, a troll one. Maybe first they'll notice that like 500 berry for Chopper, right? Tony Chopper, and he's gonna be disappointed, and then he's gonna get another bounty like 100 to 200 million for Monster Chopper, and he's gonna be happy, right? So yeah, that's gonna be funny. But now, of course, I want to give a bonus for Yamato, right? I mean, again, Yamato's bounty would be the wildest, because I don't think she has a bounty. I don't think so. If she joins the Straw Hats, I think her bounty, initial bounty, just for being under a Yonko, being this strong, and again, her coming from a Yonko crew, which people didn't know, but still, and her being the only child of the strongest creature, so maybe it could be from anywhere from 500 berry. I mean, sorry. My bad. Yeah, my bad. I mean 500 million, because like similar to Ace, she was kind of she was kind of equal to Ace. So maybe to signify that, maybe starting from 500 million, or it could go anywhere around to maybe like 800. I don't think they would just give a billion just like that. So 500 to 800 is pretty reasonable. Now again, the last thing I want to say, Kid and Law. Maybe if Big Mom gets defeated, maybe like anywhere around 3 billion to 4. I'm hesitant to say that, because no, not 4, because this time it would be like both of them fought Big Mom, so maybe both of them get around like 2.5 to 3. Yeah, I think that's pretty pretty like fair. So there you go, man. That's my bounties prediction. So you guys tell me, what do you think about my bounties? What do you think the bounties gonna look like? Like, post your lists and stuff, whatever. I want to see that. And well, if you think the video is good, like, share, subscribe, and check out my Discord. We could have fun discussions. But anyways, man, as always, until next time, peace.